sure our audio is good. Hey, if you can see us and we can see you, no, we can't see you, but you can see us. But if you can see us, just
I see the ad.
here's the thing. We want to apologize, right? We're sorry for coming in late, 10 minutes late. Oh, that's fine. We want to apologize for coming in late for sure. We're 10 minutes late, but we're sorry for that. And then the other thing is, if you can hear us, let us know that if everything's good, the audio is good, everything's great. Just let us know, give us thumbs up in the chat. Go ahead and share that link with your friends so they can tune in as well. And just, join the conversations. Real conversations, real people, real conversations. We're going to have great conversations today. New faces. I know you've seen a couple of faces here before, but one face is new. You may have not seen all of them, but I'm going to introduce myself and they'll introduce themselves. As always, my name is Peter, and she goes.
Hi, I'm Lavivi.
Hello, I'm Deji.
Hi, I'm Xiomara.
Hi, I'm John.
Hi, I'm Lara.
Oh, alright. And like I said, just let us know if the audio is good. If it's bad, just let us know. Say something, and we'll go ahead and fix whatever it may be. I see a thumbs up right there, so I think it was good.
That sounds good.
We're going to go ahead and jump into it because, like I said, we're 10 minutes behind. But before we do, please share the link with people, let them come in and chat with us. And also, if you're watching and you're not on the chat, it means you have to sign into YouTube. So that means you need a Gmail account. Sign in, and then boom, the chat box will pop up on the right side of the screen, and you can actually, chat with us, ask us questions, throw stuff at us, we'll talk about it, and all that good stuff. Other than that, man, we'll go ahead and start it. Jada says take the microphone, okay. All right, we'll go ahead and start, man. Let's go. We'll jump to the first topic. So this one is very interesting because I know most people with children would have a lot to say. I don't have a child just yet. I think one or two of you may have a child, so we're waiting to hear y'all's insights on this one. And of course, I will have a child one day, so I want us to throw a little one or two things in there. But let's talk about it. Here's how it goes. My daughter got into a fight at school, and her stepmom disciplined her. Her mom, basically it was this guy's ex, is furious that I let my wife discipline her. The thing is, my wife and I had agreed from the jump, his current wife, not his ex. We've agreed from the jump that, we could discipline each other's children. So we're going to assume that they came into this marriage with their respective children from other relationships, right? So we both agreed that we will discipline each other's children whenever necessary. She's making that face. My ex says she doesn't care if my daughter slapped the teacher or whatever my daughter did. I do not care. Your wife cannot touch my daughter, period. She said if she ever does it again, it's on site. We're going to fight. So this guy's a little concerned because it's like she allows our daughter to break the rules and get away with everything, yada, yada, yada. And it's getting out of hand. So I guess the conversation here is he wrong for allowing that or what? Or is the wife wrong for coming with that energy, like don't touch my child, even if she does anything? Let's talk to people who got children.
You want to go first? I'll go last.
I'll go.
Okay, you want to go first?
Yeah.
I was going to study about it a little bit. I was like, I don't see nothing wrong with what the man is saying. Like, if they both came into the marriage with 2 children and this is how they want to rule their household, I feel like there's nothing wrong with it. You could, as the mother of the child, you can voice your opinions, but at the end of the day, if your daughter is acting up and they're disciplining the child, as long as it's not nothing crazy, as long as it's not maybe marks on the body type stuff,
It takes a community to raise a child. The discipline part, it gets a little bit
Right?
varies. There's a gray area with that because everybody's viewpoint on discipline is different, for one. Let alone allow somebody else to spank a child, Like some things I may want to spank my child for, someone else may not want to spank a child for. So, like, that's the gray area I'm talking about. There's no right or wrong, obviously. Well, for me, there's no right or wrong. But let's go back to it. I don't want to start jumping my words here, but let's go to somebody.
I'll say, like you said, it depends. I mean, it's okay to discipline the child, but don't put your hands. As far as like whooping the child, I mean, if the child gets a fight in school, I mean, that's bound to happen anyways. Talk to the child, okay? Don't react like this and fight. But apart from that, I mean, don't put your hands. I mean, like take a belt and whoop the child. I mean, you're not the mom. So that's my take on that.
So here's, you're not the mom, but the mom can. That's what we're saying.
Yeah, the biological mom should
Right.
be able to discipline. I mean, and it also depends, is the child living with the dad all the time, or is it kind of like one of those weekend things and stuff like that, you know, week and week here, week there. But if the child lives with the dad 100% of the time, then it kind of get a little sticky, like a little bit of, it's different. It's a little different than.
You was gonna say something? I don't want to say nothing.
I was gonna say, okay, so I guess it kind of depends on the upbringing and I guess the culture. It's a cultural thing. I know in many cultures, like some of ours, Africans, it's okay to be disciplined by a relative, family member, even an auntie is not even really your auntie. However, that was many years ago. Also, while we were being brought up with parents, you know, from a whole different generation. So I feel like now, fast forward, disciplining a child that's not yours is okay if you're doing it, you know, for the best interest of the child. However, there's a limit to the type of discipline that should be done. Like many have said already, I feel like putting your hands on a child that's not yours is not, you should leave that up to the biological parent to do. But as far as like sending them to the room or confiscating stuff or whatever you have to do that is not physical can be done. But yeah.
Back to the gray area though. So what if the biological parents are not there? But that child may need a spanking. Who should? You see what I mean? Like,
And they will wait till the biological parents get there.
but they're not there.
You mean like they're not there like ever, or they're not there
Or they're
just
not
at
in
the
that
time?
moment.
Well, yeah, it could be in that moment, or actually, let's
What
say
if it's a
ever.
postponed
Let's say
answer?
Well, you have to wait, yeah.
Or like,
You
what
gotta-
about kids that are adopted, like, and they get disciplined?
Then
Then
that's
that's
different.
Then that's different.
Then that's
Yeah.
not your child. Yeah,
That's
God has
different.
given you the ability to step in as that person's biological
I
parent.
want to hear from her. She be trying to hold up. Let's see what she got to say. She be holding up. She be holding up.
I just left with more questions in that statement, the answers, because my first question was like, okay, where does the child live 100% of the time or 80% of the time? Because a lot of dads have, let's say, 20% custody, right?
Right.
So for my daughter, she goes to her dad's every other weekend, from Friday to Sunday. That's it, that's all. You know, and every other holiday. So with me and my spouse, he's been there since before birth, right? So technically that's his child, but he still doesn't feel comfortable with putting his hands on her, right? Because he doesn't feel like it's a male thing, and it's a gray area between him and my child's biological father, right? So I get the perspective. However, I do understand, even though he's been there since before birth, and my biological child's father has a girlfriend that's been there for a very long time, I wouldn't expect her to put any hands towards my child, ever. Even though she met her at a young age, at 4, if she's 16, and she gets in a physical altercation, that's between me and her father to deal with, and I can step in. She'd only see her 3 days every other weekend. So of course you shouldn't put your hands on my child. Or I'm gonna put my hands on
Let me
you.
ask you this though. So if your ex or your child's father tells his partner, you have the right to discipline her. And I'm saying this because the backstory for this was that the guy was not a disciplinarian, so he didn't, like what you said,
And
the
that's
man
his fault.
felt like he wasn't the place to discipline.
But even
So he
Dr.
put it on
Phil-
her. So
Even Dr. Phil will tell you that you're not supposed to discipline other people's kids, because and he didn't sound like that. The stepmom's been there for like the beginning since she was a baby, right? He said we both came in with kids, so that gives me the fact that maybe she came in at 10 years old. At 10 years old, there's been a decade of disciplinary actions that she's already established in her life that she was not a part of.
Right.
So to turn around to now she's my main disciplinary person that I might see every other week, I'm gonna take that serious. She's not.
So I guess the question is, what's okay? So, like we all agree, there has to be some sort of discipline. Like even if
Ground her.
even if your daughter is there for just 3 days or 4 days or whatever,
Ground
it may be,
her.
there has to be some sort of
Take her phone.
just ground. Okay.
She's
Yeah.
16.
Take
Ground
away
Take her
playtime.
phone.
We can't
No
go see
social
your
media.
friends. No.
You can't play anymore if they come here and
movies.
play.
Take an outfit. Oh my God. Oh my God. I had worked. Listen, and I get it because my biological parents were non-traditional, we'll say that. So I lived with my friend's parents and I lived with my other friend's parents and I ended up living with my sister and going to college from her house. So it was hard for her to try to come and discipline me just because I moved in when I was 15. So I've already established I do this, I get away with it, I'm okay. She was like, no, you're not going to get away with it. So we fought. It wasn't like she whooped me. We're going to fight because I'm 16 and this is something new.
And I was gonna say, I see a comment here I was going to bring up as well. So it's like this: we're saying, you'll ground them, take their phones, take whatever. But again, with the little teenagers, right? They can get on your nerves. There's this comment: kids nowadays are heartless, whether at home or in the streets, right? So this is why parents need to put their foot down. So imagine dealing with as a you're not the biological parent. They will spite you. They will do all those things. So it's like how are you able to control, or how do you discipline in that situation?
Yeah, because I was going to ask you, are we talking about discipline in the sense of physical discipline?
I mean, some people take it too far and do physical, but some people see physical as the only option, and they do it.
But I have a quick question. Do y'all feel like the physical discipline is necessary?
In some instances.
Or do you feel like you
I
can
mean,
actually
not-
get away from being physical, like you can actually discipline a
When you
child
say
without being
physical,
like
that just
expanding
sounds.
them?
You mean like this overall, not in the sense of being a step or parent? and
Yeah, just overall, not in the
I think
sense
it's
of.
a culture and
I grew
generational
up on
thing
physical
for us.
discipline. So.
Do you feel like it
I'm about
helps you?
to-
I mean,
Get better
Yeah.
at being-
I think
honestly,
some
yeah.
kids need the extra.
Yeah.
Yeah, some kids need it, but I won't say
Right.
it's like for everyone. Some kids, the talking don't work anymore.
Like I grew up on.
It doesn't.
He's right. I just know I grew up on physical discipline. I wasn't abused or anything like that, y'all. But I grew up, on that, and for me, I guess it did work because at a point in time, I was scared to get in that situation again or do anything that would get me whooped again. So for me, it worked. But I know for other kids, it might make them, worse. Or I don't know. I guess it depends
Like
on.
for me, at first, it worked, but then I'm like, this doesn't hurt anymore. So my parents started to take things away from
Things
me.
away.
And that hurt more than
Yeah.
whooping me. Well, you can't go outside. You can't go play soccer. Oh,
Yeah.
that actually did it.
But that's when you get older, I believe. Once you get
Yeah.
older, you're able to
Right.
kind of like,
Yeah.
Understand?
yeah.
I'm also a nanny, so I deal with parents that aren't in my race. A lot happens
That are
that
not.
aren't in our race.
They're non-African American.
They're non-African American, and they're usually one race, and in particular. And I start with their babies literally from like 3 days out the hospital to sometimes they're 3 years old. So
Wow.
I've seen this baby grown up. I know how it's raised. In one particular family, they just had a newborn. So I went out with the newborn, but I ended up having to step in with the 3-year-old because, well, two. And they're like, I just don't understand. I don't know what to do. I'm like, okay, at least put them in timeout. Like, let's try the timeout, go the timeout route. Because I know what I would have did, but I wouldn't get fired. So just go out the timeout route, right? So they're like, okay. He's never been in timeout in his life. He hits them. He tried to hit the baby.
Oh, wow.
This new, like,
That's a child that needs a whooping
a whooping.
or physical discipline.
But I put him in timeout, and he was just screaming and crying and tried to get down. I'm like, okay, time starts over, right? So he understood, and then his mom came down. I was like, what's going on? I said, he's in timeout. She was like, okay. So he started screaming again. Mind you, he had calmed down for 2 whole minutes before his mom came down, but he saw that and he saw it escape, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, I could tell she was thinking like, what should I
Let him
do?
go.
This
Yeah.
is my child, but I know So she was like, she sat by him, and I'm like, but in another chair, and I'm like, all right. And I'm holding the other baby like, okay, we're gonna test this out. And she was like, no, I can't do it. If Miss Lara says no, then it's no. And his heart was broken. And he just sat there and thought about it, and he just sat. And was like, okay, I can't play with her. You know?
Yeah, not her.
Not her. And he's never hit his sister in front of me. The next day he beat up his parents and did them and all this.
Sounds like you got some good there.
Yeah, I mean, a whipping would stop that.
So let me, with that situation you described, with that child, let's take that and put it into this guy's situation. If his daughter was doing that in his presence, and he tells his wife, you know, like, hey, discipline her.
Yeah, he should have stepped in.
So he
was
should
in
do
there.
the discipline.
For sure.
But some guys don't know how to do that. Some guys can't get themselves to do it. And I believe that's why he probably told his wife, hey, you can discipline
And if that's the case, then he should have had a conversation with
with his
ex.
wife. with
Yeah,
his-
you should call on speaker or something. Yeah, like, hey, like, I don't know what to do, but this transpired, like, you know,
Yeah,
that
or-
or something.
Or this behavior is happening, does she do this at home when she's with you or
Yeah,
whatever,
ask
like,
questions.
you know, and he needs to step up and
Give the
That-
mom a chance to run up on her daughter if she needs to.
Let's run through the comments real quick. I saw a comment. D says it's tricky, but I guess maybe the mom needs to communicate how she wants such situations to be handled. Like, would she want the stepmom to inform her so that, you know, she'll be the one who can work on the disciplining, you know?
But
thought it
you
was
have
more
a
than that.
relationship with the ex.
You don't, right?
I don't have a relation. I just recently established a relationship with my child's stepmom, right? I just recently established that. So
You don't want
Is
to
that-
have those type
no,
of
we're,
conversations.
it went south one time, and that was the last time, you know. But it didn't get physical or anything. I
Right.
just caught her in a lie, and
Okay.
she accused me of lying, and that's the worst thing you can do because I'm a detective. So I have
I think I'm women are
screenshots.
detectives.
Yeah, I have
Right.
screenshots, dates, and I sent it to her. I'm like, this is the part where I'm not lying.
Right,
He is lying
right.
to you, and I don't want to establish any friction in your household because
Mhm.
I'm gonna tell you your man is lying to you.
Mhm.
You know?
Oh, you know what? Ooh, yeah. Oh. Let's move. So Ebony says that's a tough situation. If the step parent is helping to raise the child, but she can't discipline them. I understand limited to non-physical, but they should have a right to do something.
They can
Oh,
talk
yeah,
to them
they-
and stuff,
yeah,
like,
they
you know,
can.
or like, hey, go sit in your room, let me get that stuff or whatever, but not.
I don't think anyone's saying that they don't have a right to have a voice in their household.
they can.
She takes it another step further. She says the mom in this particular case sounds bitter because she's not with the dad anymore. Y'all think that?
No.
You got that from 2 sentences?
I mean, she says mature adults should be able to come to a compromise for that works for everybody and what's best for the child.
For sure, that should
Yeah,
be
for
established ahead of time.
Yeah, and I just feel like personally, it's just kind of tricky in the sense of like, another reason why someone else, how do I say it, the father's or mother's partner should not discipline a child that isn't theirs is because some people can be doing things out of spite, you know? People,
Yeah.
this is a crazy, a weird world. People can be like, oh, well, you know, just because that baby mama issues or whatever, then they
I
can
mean, I
discipline
feel
the
like
child.
that goes for the parents too, though. Like, anybody that's disciplining anybody can be doing it out of spite. We're human beings at the end of the day. Like, really just think about it, though, I feel like it should be a conversation. If you know, if this is the stepmom or stepdad, the parents should have some kind of agreement on how should we raise this child, depending on kind of other situations, or in terms of discipline. But at the end of the day, I do feel like, okay, if nobody's around and it's just a step parent that's around, and the child does need a whipping,
For men, like at the end of the day, don't take your belt and start whooping my child just because they got into a fight.
yeah, no, I mean, so that's
Like,
the conversation. But if the
you know,
child needs
yeah.
a whipping, the child is, because we grew up in a community where it's like the community raises
Yeah,
the
oh,
child,
yeah,
right?
of course.
So, I mean, I'm not for whipping anybody, period. I'll try to find an alternate way to discipline a child before I put my hands on them. But if it results to that, I will. But at the end of the day, you know, step parents are parents too. You know, they're not the biological parent, but they're still parents too.
And with what you just said, I'm gonna take this 2 comments. G-Dog says, no discipline in the home means privilege. And the child telling the parents, and basically it means privilege and the child telling the parents what to do. Set some boundaries. And what comes right after that is, what if the child actually got physical with the stepmom?
By all means.
Then you get your,
Yes, that's a separate,
that's a separate situation.
that's a whole other situation, for sure.
Well, you have to, she hit you, you hit her back.
That was just in the news for,
Let's put you in that shoes, in that situation right now. I mean, because you know you're a little open and telling us stuff. So if you heard that if you fight.
I fight for less, I'll tell you that.
No, because here's the thing. Because, I know, I get that, but everybody literally just echoed by all means, by all means. So imagine your daughter hits her stepmom and then she hits her back and you hear the story and boom, what do you do? I mean, that's for you to decide, but how would you handle that?
I have
Because
questions.
it makes sense to do that. I mean, whoever else wants to answer that question can answer the question.
Let's say
Your
that
child
your
hit her.
stepmom tried to hit her with a belt and she came with a 1-2 or a 1-3.
But that's what you're playing in your head as what happened. But what if that's really not what happened?
That's why it has to be an establishment
Okay,
before, because these type of questions need to be established before.
So
Because if it happens after, my first instinct is to go fight her, and then I'm gonna ask a question. I'm like, ooh, my bad.
Well,
I
I'm
know,
saying
by every right as a
Really?
parent, like, that's an inclination you're automatically not happy because you want to
Yeah.
protect your child. But if your child is in the wrong, like as a parent, it's hard to get to that point where you have
If
to
my
filter.
child raised her hand like this to you, I hope you stop her and then you call me. Throw her ass in the room, sorry, and then call me. Because anywhere in Houston, I can get there in 10 minutes.
Okay, but what if you are the stepmom and the child hits you? Are you going to think to stop her hand and call
Let me go
her
call
mom,
her
or are
mom.
you going to fight her back and then
See,
talk about
and
it
that's
later?
when you have to know your strengths.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
I know from the beginning I wouldn't be a good stepmom.
I like that.
No, that's true. I feel like that too. I feel like that too.
That's real.
And I also feel like I can't work in a daycare either, so that's why I would never.
And I'm
I
a
don't
lady.
like kids
Listen,
like that.
I deal with kids.
No, I'm serious. So yeah, that's when you stay in the back.
It's like, don't even put yourself in that situation.
She can handle. God, that's
So at that point, then that's the stepmom fault now.
Well,
Not
I've actually seen a situation like that. Like the dad was the stepdad, and then my friend was always, doing the most, cursing at the stepdad, and it was like, you know what, you go to your room, and the dude was like, I'm not going to my room if you did this and that, and it was like, you know what, you get out the house then.
This is stepdad?
Yeah, the stepdad told him, well, you get out the house. He said, no, I'm not. And they tried to go to his room, and the stepdad like closed the door, and my friend literally turns around and swung at his stepdad, and his stepdad slapped him. So in that I think that was just a reaction thing, but
Yeah.
that happened.
Let's
I was
flip it.
like-
What about kids when they're in school and the teachers, kids are always testing teachers. And so we've seen plenty of videos with a teacher actually disciplining a child and they get scolded for it. Like, how do y'all feel about this? I don't think it's any different from a step parent in a situation disciplining
Yeah,
a
because
child.
kids.
So
kids
there's
take
even
this
a
way.
weird TikTok challenge I'm hearing about going around with
Teach-
kids slapping a teacher.
Yeah.
So
And
as
that's
a
from
teacher,
home.
right, so to me, I feel like
Teach us
a
right.
teacher has every right to hit a child back.
To
Okay.
That's
defend
what I
his
think.
or herself.
To defend themselves.
Defend
However,
themselves.
Better when
No matter how hard it is, you cannot hit my child. Like, but that established at home. I know Larry for sure would never go slap their teacher, right? So what conversations are you having with your child at home to think that that's okay? I don't care
Oh, wait,
what
so you're
they
saying
see.
knowing that you raised her well, and then you get a call saying, oh, well, Lyric hit me, that's why I hit her first. You're like, wait, I know
She
my
would never
daughter.
do that.
She
Please
would never
run
do
the
that.
tape. That's never, never. Now, my nephews,
That might happen.
listen, they get caught. I don't want to put my sister business out because I'm
Oh my
like,
God.
I mean, there's really no like completely right and completely wrong here. It's just kind of, it depends on the
circumstances.
circumstances. Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. I don't think a stepmom should just, oh, she did this, but if someone continues to do something all the time, and you're like, what else do I do?
Mm-hmm.
Then what type of child are you raising? Because
That's what I'm saying. I mean, it
I have a stepmom. She's never put her hands on me, and she's been knowing me since I was 6. Never. I showed but one time in Kmart over games, I couldn't get for a sleepover. Like, disgustingly threw myself on the floor, cried. Disgusting. That's why I said, what type of child am I? Because I've been there, done it. And my dad came and whooped me. My dad didn't believe in whoopings. He wouldn't let anyone else whoop us, but he came and whooped me. And I never got a whooping again from 6.
You were a good child.
For my dad. No,
Oh,
just for my
okay.
dad.
I'm gonna run through one more comment and we'll go to the next topic. Good conversation so far. Chica says, research says physical discipline does not work. It doesn't work as well as people think it works. Instead of correcting the behavior a lot of time, basically it just instills fear in the child. That's what she's saying. And it leads to the kid becoming more deceptive. Do we agree?
No.
no.
I have a 15-year-old. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I have a 15-year-old, and he doesn't get whoopings or anything. Like, he's 15 and stuff, and that stopped like around 10, 9 or 10 or so. And that's because of me disciplining him physically and speaking to him and letting him know, like, hey, you made a mistake. That's one mistake. And you did it again. Okay, that's a warning. Now, after the 3rd time, then that's when, discipline is going to step in, like physical discipline and stuff. And that's just how it's been. Like, I talked to him. Then I feel like you need to have, like, a even balance of both or so, like, like just don't go off and hit the kid, like, just want to abuse them for everything, but talk to them and stuff, because they're still learning, they're grown humans, but at this time, like, he's 15, sometimes, he tries me because he's a 15-year-old, so that's why I'll slap the hell out of him, but that's very, like, rare, that's not something that's like something that happens on a normal basis. Yeah, so I really feel like that helped, like, I'm proud of the child that I raised, so.
You have to establish some type of fear in your child.
I really feel that way because then they won't respect boundaries.
Yeah, especially if you're raising a little boy, you have to think they grow up to be stronger than you, right? So at 16,
he's already taller than me, yeah. So
you're smaller. So if you don't remember that headlock I had put you in at 5, how am I supposed to establish this? I did this to my nephews. Even today, I still fight my
ankle lock I
nephews
put
because
you in.
I'm still your aunt.
I still got it.
You're 21, okay? You got some little muscles on you, but please don't run up on me. Because I just had to fight my nephew at Thanksgiving.
The hand is still heavy.
And I still whipped him. That's the thing. Don't do it.
Okay,
Like a
listen.
discipline, man.
Give me that job. So when I say I know when and when not to discipline somebody's child, please believe I know. It takes strength.
I believe that.
Yeah.
So let's run up to the next one real quick. Let's do this. I'll do the second one. Here's how that goes. It pisses me off when women say men will always choose what's best for them. Men are out here, so this is a man venting his frustration, right? He goes, men are out here constantly sacrificing for the families and their loved ones. A lot of these women are being radicalized by social media and are unable to think for themselves. Ask your father about the dreams he halted just so you and your siblings could have a better life. Woman, your inability to meet a man that could make sacrifices for you shouldn't lead to you passing your misfortune as a standard. Does that make sense?
no.
No.
It doesn't?
Is he married?
Should we break it down?
Yeah, let's break
What
it
did you
down.
say?
I said, is he married?
I
He
mean,
sounds
I don't
hurt.
know, but this was
Yeah.
actually a comment that I
Sounds a
saw.
little
I don't know which page it was, but it was
Should've started off
it was on
with
Twitter actually. But he was really, and he was more to it. He was just going in, but this is the little excerpt that I picked out. Because here's the thing. Here's what he's saying. He's basically saying that a lot of women are out here saying that, men always speak themselves and they care for themselves, yada, 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 all that stuff. But he's saying that's a very selfish thing to say because men always are out there hustling and trying to provide for their family. So basically trying to say some men could go off and do whatever else they want to do, but because they have a family, they want to protect and, provide for their family. So for you to put all men in that bracket of you would always speak yourself is selfish. That's what he's saying.
But technically, isn't he putting all women in that same statement?
Well, because the thing about it is, a lot of this stuff you can see on social media these days. I can close my eyes and watch him and say I agree with him on that stance that women actually say these things. It's a good 80%. If you go on social media today, what do you look? Let's be honest with ourselves. If you go on social media today, you will see at least 10, 15 posts from different women saying this man, that man, this man,
Right.
selfish man, this selfish man, that.
So what's the issue? The issue is that he's in his eyes, he's doing everything he can to be the
Basically, here's what it said. It says it pisses me off, and it feels like it's selfish when women say men will always choose what's best for them, and choose themselves. He's saying men are actually out here constantly sacrificing for their families and their loved ones. A lot of these women are being radicalized by social media and are unable to think for themselves. And I say, I don't know where that thought came from, but he has a point. But, so basically trying to say, ask the men in your lives about the dreams that they put on hold just to raise a family.
But what about the ones without families? The
Yeah,
ones that don't have
the single
kids?
men are thinking about themselves. I don't
Yeah.
care.
So-
They
so
think about
so
themselves.
maybe the single men
I
don't
feel
fall
like
into
until
this
they get in a
category.
family or they're married and stuff, that's the only time that they're like, oh,
Yeah.
unless it's already instilled in them, like, that's why I like Nigerian so because
Yeah.
they're like really family oriented, so they already have that instilled in them. So it's
Right.
like you already got my back, so I already know. Like that's what I really like. But I like an average, they're single. They're thinking about themselves. They're trying to please themselves. They're trying to get money, whatever. They're not thinking about like, oh, let me
That's why it
take
doesn't
care of you
mean-
and your family, grandma.
That's why I doesn't mean understand unless he's
So
referring
he
to.
can shut up.
Unless he's referring to, which in this case he might be telling on himself, if he's referring to women that he's trying to toast or be with, and he's saying, well, I have a family, I have this and that. So I feel like if that's the case, he's telling on himself that you have a family and he's still out here trying to run around with girls who are telling you that you're going to pick what's best for you. That's what I'm getting from this.
He
From this
sounds hurt
complaint.
about a situation. So
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make.
It's a
Like,
two-part.
You
yeah.
say he sounds hurt about the situation?
Yeah.
He really
You say it's a
does.
two-part
Something
thing?
that's not. Yeah.
I just don't understand.
I
So-
can read this this statement over and over again and put like 10 sentences behind it. Questions.
So,
for me,
yeah.
I'm hearing the part of like giving up on your dreams or giving up on this to take care of your family. And okay, that's fine, but a lot of people do that. It's not just men.
Women
It's
too,
men.
right? Women
Women
too.
raise their kids at
Women-
home. It's like you think we wanted to dream of.
let's do this.
wiping
Just so we can, let's have a conversation on this. Let's break it down like this. Let's start with this one part.
Okay.
Men will always choose what's best for them. Do y'all agree?
I think everybody should choose.
Choose what's best
Well,
for
I
them.
want to get into the minds of the ladies now, if that makes sense. Like, when a woman says that, what do you mean? And where is it coming from? Men would always choose, a man is selfish, he always does what's best for him, he doesn't think about the us
Most
or
men
me or
don't think
whatnot.
about family stuff until they're older. Why?
I agree with that.
Most women think from
Early.
18 to like 26.
Naturally,
we were
we're
naturally-
nurtured.
We were raised to be wives.
Yeah, they play dress up, they play house, right? And the man is thinking about a career, right? So they have to be a little selfish more. But however, nowadays, women are thinking about themselves, and guess what they're called? For the streets. So with that being said, it's just like a double standard. When a woman's for the streets and she's
The
thinking
for the
about...
streets is a little different. Those chicks are for the streets are for the streets.
But when a man does it, that is kind of double standard because when a man does it, it's just like, oh, he's just being a man.
He's just being
It's
selfish.
just like
He's not thinking about...
But it's not even looked at being selfish. It's
But are
looked
we
at as like,
talking
oh, he's just
about,
being a man.
are we talking about like goals wise, like
I
the
think
man is
he's
thinking
talking about
of
everything.
or sexual, like just
Yeah.
being out there,
I can get it.
or because I mean that's just a natural thing when it comes to like women playing, like as kids or whatever, they already think about like being a wife and all this stuff, and men we kind of like as kids we just want to buy cars and do this and do that.
And have lots
I
of
think
friends.
that's just like I don't think we were like actually taught that. I think that's just something that just
It's programmed.
it's just in our brains, just as men and women. But as we get older, then we actually start to learn things. Like we start to learn, okay, I need to be a husband. Oh no, I want to be a husband. A lot of women, they want to be wives, like without even knowing anything about being a wife. But when you say for the streets and all that stuff, these days, I think women just get tired of, I met this guy.
I saw how Lavivi looked at her. I was like,
No, that's what you said. I'm just saying what you said. Like, of course, like women nowadays, they're actually trying to do stuff for themselves and stuff, which is good. Like, have your own. And what he's saying about the dude being, saying what the women saying like men are selfish or whatever. I think that just come from, man, we think money, 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 and try to be financially stable first before we think about anything else.
And while y'all are thinking about money, 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 there's women, women, women on the side of that money running,
She's
right?
giving all that out.
No, that's, no, I'm not, but that's, that's there. But if the guy's single, then
Then he's not for the streets, he's just single,
it's single.
right?
Yeah.
If a woman's single,
Yeah, why she can't do the same thing?
No, there is a double
Everybody-
standard there. No, I don't understand. There's double standards everywhere.
okay, I just wanted to.
There's double standards it's everywhere that benefits men and benefits women. Like, it's
For
everywhere.
sure.
So that is a double
So
standard.
what it sounds like to me is he came across for the streets and he got hurt.
I think so too. Yeah, that's what
He
it
came
sounds
across a
little
similar energy.
situation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you
Similar
came
situation.
across a new age woman, and she was thinking about money, 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 like he said,
Yeah.
and he's hurt.
And it should have been
And
smart.
it's
Smart.
okay.
It should have been smarter, I guess.
How much women still act like that? Just go down there. I think they're in Salt Lake City or something.
Hey, Lavivi, you about to say something earlier?
I mean, I don't know. I just don't understand. I just feel like he's leaving a lot of things. Whoever wrote this,
Mhm.
I feel like he's leaving a lot of important things
Yeah, 'cause
out.
it just sounds like what are you hiding? Like, what are you talking
Yeah,
about?
like I want to know
Tell me
more.
the
I
other
wish I
side
could know
of the
more
story,
about
yeah.
this
Like, does
man.
it have a
Like,
family outside of town or
Yeah.
something? Or,
I wish it was
It's
more
like the
specific.
slide thing, you know how it's like the slide.
So let me say, so are we saying potentially that only men with families or with children, most likely the ones that, are actually giving up something and trying to say, oh, let's say man and woman,
Mhm.
they're the only ones who are potentially, trying to go out there and give up stuff and provide and do stuff? Or
You have to.
so we're saying as a single man who's hustling and let's put people in a relationship like you were saying something. If you have you with someone you're in a relationship, you guys are both single, you're 25-ish and up. So we're saying that as a man in that relationship, he's not necessarily providing for the relationship, or he's just taking care of himself. Because that's what I just heard. That's what I heard in that conversation. Does
So
that make
is
sense?
he in a relationship?
With the woman, they're both in a relationship.
Okay, and what's established? Is it an open relationship? Are we talking?
No,
are we
it's a
building
community
relationship?
relationship.
Are we
Whichever way
building
you
for
want.
the future? Like,
Yeah,
what
I
are we
agree. It's
doing?
based on like, are they in a relationship in the hopes of getting married?
Right.
So
Like,
if
what's
they
the-
are,
what is the
then
mutual agreement?
They are. I would hope.
Like
or-
dating with a purpose.
What's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
goal?
yeah.
Then if it's a goal in mind, then
Mhm.
there's certain stuff that you cannot do. And that's giving up something.
Okay.
Sometimes it's dreams. Maybe I dream about going to the club every night. I can't.
Like, what?
I'm just,
I
I'm
mean,
just saying, living my best life.
everybody sacrifices.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to get at. There should be an
Everybody.
age on how, where
I mean, yeah,
you
there's something you
sacrifice
should
for
give up.
something.
I mean, some
Yeah.
sacrifices is bigger than others.
Others.
I mean, like,
That's what I'm trying to say. We don't have to be in, we don't have to have children, we don't have to have responsibilities, we don't have to reach a certain age before we start to think, oh, I need to sacrifice X, Y, Z for X, Y, Z. It could be for your parents. You don't have to be for, we all have parents. So it's like, there's no age in that, right?
Sacrifices every day.
That's what, so that's what I was trying to get from this, but then,
but as a man, I would say this though, men are more selfish in a way.
more selfish?
Yeah, I mean, just, yeah, I had that conversation a while back. Men are, to me, are
More selfish than women?
selfish. Yeah.
Why do you say that?
I agree.
We just do some of the dumbest things. Like, why would you do that? Like, women are more long suffering. Like, they will stay there.
I mean, there's method to a guy's madness.
Yeah, true.
Like, I know there's something that me as a person I may do and it seems like I'm being selfish, but there's always
A logic to
yeah,
it.
there's a logic to it.
Yeah, men are like, Brain.
I've dated and I've heard girls say, oh, you're selfish. No, it's just I can't afford to give my time like that.
Yeah.
But it appears that I'm being selfish, but no, it's just, I mean, I enjoy the time that I'm spending with the person, but
but I think that's a
Right.
collective though, just, that's all.
Right. Real quick, I was gonna say that, I think, in this conversation, I feel like selfish may be, maybe the wrong terminology. I would wanna say maybe men are a lot more, well, let me just say, this is where the double standard comes in. So, a man can be with multiple women, or might lust over multiple women, or might have multiple women, and a woman can be with a man and she could have a whole bunch of guys coming after her, but she won't even entertain them because of the love she has for this one man.
Right.
So it looks like, well, the man is being selfish because he's able to go parade around the town with a whole bunch of different girls, and the woman is sacrificing, wanting to stay and be only for him, but it's taken as maybe being selfish. I don't know. I just feel like.
But I would see that more as like a biological thing. I'm just saying.
No.
I'm just saying. No. I mean, that's a different topic.
I think it's who raised you thing.
I think
I was raised by my dad, so I saw the game, and I saw my brothers, and I saw my cousins, and I was like, hey, okay, this is what we do,
So I'm gonna take these two comments and we'll go to the next one, because the next topic that we'll talk about actually kind of ties into this. But Professor Conner says most men are not selfish. Let's not tackle the effect and disregard the cause, right? The main problem here is society normalizing and conditioning both genders to play specific roles. You agree? I see that.
It's like you just said, it's a biological thing. I'm
Right.
like, no, it's not.
Social media does have a lot.
I mean, social media.
Society and social media.
That's society, but I mean, a lot of things has been the same for a long time. Like men will always, I just think it's been like that for so long that now it's kind of like, okay.
I think
Let's
that
change
women
things.
sacrifice early, right, with the relationship, and then once they get older, sometimes that's when they find other people. Or a lot of people, like a lot of lesbian women, right, they made a family, and they waited to their 40s to find like who their true love are. We just sacrifice earlier and then live life later.
That was deep, but
One last comment. Dee says when she sees comments like men choose themselves, it typically tells her that women should do the same, right? So it's always been about how men think about themselves and don't settle or see potential where women often would do, right? So it's just like, it's to say women should also choose themselves and choose what's best for them.
But until the double standard is normalized, like, it becomes a normal thing for women, then we're going to be, put in this box, like, oh, you're a gold digger, you did. I don't know, it's just everything negative. It's not going to be, it's just like a pass for the man, like, oh, it's a man, that's how men are. But if a woman's to do the same exact thing that a man is doing, thinking of themselves, thinking about just getting money, however she gets it, or, speaking to whoever she wants to, going on whatever dates and whatnot and stuff, she's for, like you said, the streets. And that's not, I don't think
that
that's
topic
fair.
is deeper than just what we see though, like that.
Somebody said it's a man's world, but the woman control it.
How we control it? We should control the comments then about us. Like we can control that.
I kind of understand that in the deeper sense, like it's a man's world, but look, women can get whatever they want, literally. You can't, it's true.
No, I agree.
Like women can get whatever they want, they just have to know how
But I
to get
promise
it
you,
from
there's a group of women that will hear that statement and tell you, no, it's not.
And it's for the streets if we do. Like,
But
we get whatever we want.
but we have to understand there's double standards everywhere. Unless we understand that, like men there's the benefits to us, and you guys have double standard that we
But
like.
it's a fine line that we can't
On
cross.
but we gotta understand it's just what it is. Like
so you just say just accept the double standards.
yeah, and work with the like. Okay, if a dude was to have sex with a ton of women, like he's a player. A woman do it, she's a
It's for the
For the
streets.
streets.
For the streets.
I'd rather
There's
be a
a-
player than for the streets.
But I still think the man is also for the streets, but it's a different term that we use these days.
Maybe we need to do a
But
topic where we talk about the double
if it was a
standards.
lineup of men being that way and stuff, women, they would still get chose. The other women would be frowned upon. They would be like, oh no, she's a whore, she's this, she's that. A man would still be chosen.
Women-
like,
Some women have to
like, oh, that's
You know why?
bad.
You know
She's not
why?
there anymore,
We,
you know?
women seem to be
You gotta
more
move to
pure
the
than
stage.
men. That's
When
why
nobody know you.
men see women as pure, like, okay, you know, you were delicate, you know. So I don't. I'm just saying that makes sense to me. Huh?
Let's do this.
No, I'm not saying.
We're gonna jump to the next one. We definitely need to do a topic on, double standards. That's
I
it.
can't wait.
Double standards.
Yeah,
That's
that
it.
is a good one.
But no, let's jump to this one. This is probably the last one we do. So when two people are in a proper committed relationship, is it possible for someone to love the other person more? Right? And this is where this is coming from. My cousin legit had a conversation with me about her relationship. She said her husband does a lot for her because he loves her way more than she loves him. Don't get me wrong, she does love him, and she does stuff for him too, but it's just not as much as he's in love with her, right? I understand it, but it's just weird to me. I read more on this, and it was such that they love, but it's just somebody actually loves somebody more than the other. So it's like this person is always doing stuff for this person, and it's weird if you ask me to.
Maybe they just show their love differently. Maybe it doesn't somebody,
Nah,
No.
somebody apparently loves somebody more.
So how does she know?
So let me ask you this. So when I saw this, the first thing I thought about was, let's go back to when you meet somebody and somebody's pursuing somebody.
Yeah.
Is it a fact that the person who's doing the pursuing is the one that's really the one that's loving this person?
Like, yeah,
And
like
then
you
you
call
come-
it more
mutual.
evidence.
No, but here's the thing. But it could be mutual. But it's like you're convincing this person, hey, I like you, like me back, and they finally say, okay, I like you back, I guess, whatever. And how does that work?
Like
'Cause-
initially, I think they're showing more interest. I mean, not more interest, but they are the one going after you. Like, so it seems like, I'm showing more interest. So hopefully she shows the same interest back. But once you get in a relationship, it's like I'm always, doing this for you. I do things that I don't like to do. I do it for you. You want to go do this, but it's like, can you do some things that I like also? So I'm guessing they can.
So wait, is the girl or whoever in a relationship admitting that one person loves the other more, or is this what it looks like on the outside?
So the one in the relationship says yes, that her husband does a lot more stuff for her than she does for him.
So she believes
So
that.
she believes that he's more in love with her than she's in love with him because she doesn't do as much stuff. She does stuff for him, but not as much as he does. So she feels like he loves her more. And then, like I said, I started playing it in my head and I went back. It's like, I could see how that could be a case, but then I will feel like the longer you're in a relationship, you need to build up that love too, build up that same interest.
I don't know.
Right?
I feel like also people's love languages are different.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
So unless if she didn't admit that she thinks that he loves her more, then I would feel like, okay, people on the outside don't really know, because her love language might be gifts and his just might be quality time or words of affirmation or whatever.
Right.
So, but the fact that she's admitting to possibly being loved more lets me know that, she just she's not in love with him as much as he's in love with her. Maybe she's there for the gifts or whatever benefit she's getting.
Yeah, I see a divorce down the road.
Why do you have that face?
I think it changes.
It changes.
Yeah, because I would say the person I've been with for a very, very long time, on and off, I would say I was more interested in him before he was me. And then it started off very casual, kind of. But I was putting in a lot of effort. Like, I was coming over cooking, and I was doing a lot. And then at one point, I was like, listen, either we're going to put a name on this, or this is my last night over here, right? So he woke me up at like 3 in the morning and was like, I want to do this. I'm like, okay. And then like 2 months later, I didn't want to do it. So it changed, but he pursued me then. And it made me stay longer, so it was like I was getting chased.
So what happened? What changed? What happened?
I don't know. I get bored.
And that's what I was gonna say. That's what I was saying. Like,
It just changes.
somewhere down the line, when you start getting to know each other better, at some point, it needs to come up to this point.
Yeah,
That it needs to be.
sometimes one person is fighting to keep y'all together, and another point in the relationship, like you'll see this, and I think we've been together since like 2012, right? on and off. So it's like at one point I was fighting, at one point he was fighting, and then sometimes we'll come together and fight. But you have to do that in a relationship that you really, really want to be in, because sometimes the other person is just working your nerve. No matter how happy you are, it's like a trigger again. And they have to be strong enough to hold both of y'all together. And
Like, do you think some people lose interest because, like, okay, like you said, you were doing all these things, and when you told them, like, okay, if you don't do this, you know, this is my last night. You think some people lose interest because once you told him that, it probably clicked in his brain, then he started to do more, and some people are like, oh, so it took all this time for him to tell you. So it's like, you know what, now I'm losing interest in you because I had to tell you.
I can tell you that.
I know.
But when it's your soulmate, it just because it's your soulmate, it doesn't say easy mate.
Yeah.
It's not going to be easy. No relationship's going to be easy, because I can find fault in the person that I see in this car that's driving by. Like, you know, he just drove too slow. Why is he going 35 and a 45? So you can find fault in anything and anybody. So when you're with a person for a very, very long time, the way they brush their teeth gets on your nerves.
Well, the way you drink that juice is too loud.
Like, why did you spill that on your shirt?
Why do you eat like that?
Yeah, and it's just maybe something, I don't know.
But I just want to ask a question. So is it
Yeah, we're
actually?
childish as human beings. Right? That's
What I'm trying to get
We
at.
really are.
So can two people actually really be in a relationship, but one person actually likes the other less?
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
Just like with sugar babies or girls who are after men for their money. A man can be looking at this like, wow, I've never had a woman before. I've been so busy all my life working and becoming rich. I've never had time to be with a woman, or maybe he's ugly or whatever he had that kept him from being with a woman. And then now he's rich, he doesn't know what to do with his life. Now he's like, okay, you know what, let me get a girl. He still can't get a girl, so he decides to buy a girl. So the girl that he's with is only there for the money or whatever benefits
So
that she's
shit for the
getting.
streets? No, I'm kidding.
So with that being said, yes, he can be in love with her, like, oh my gosh, she's so sweet, she looks soft, she's pretty, and she's just like, okay, like, where's the money? You know, so I do believe that, yes.
And I wouldn't call that.
That's not a relationship. That's
Yeah, I
a
wouldn't
transaction.
I call that
No,
transaction.
It's not a race
the reason I have to
relationship.
say it's a relationship, because I've seen relationships like that. I've seen people get married in those relationships. I've seen younger women get married to older men. And to me, personally, just being a woman, I don't feel like a young woman can be naturally in love with an old man just out of love.
Well, how much older? Because
Like 25 years older. So
Oh, okay, yeah.
25 and 50.
I mean,
Or 30 and 60.
Hey, maybe you got swag.
And that's what I'm
You
trying to
got
get at. I want to
swag,
get to
yeah.
that. But do you think
Well,
that at 25, you know, because you said that. So you don't
well,
think
when
at
I
25.
was 18 and so growing up, or when I was younger, I always like, you know, older guys. And my first like serious relationship was with an older guy. Then my second relationship was a guy who was 10 years older than me. So I mean, I didn't have an issue with that. But when you're saying like 20, 25 and stuff, like that does kind of.
Like a 20, 30 years.
We don't really have nothing to talk.
Yeah, like
we can't
I've
relate.
seen it in papers, and I've seen from personal, like people that know people, young girls getting older, getting married to men that are like the age of their dad, just because of what, you know, the financial freedom that they have now, or whatever. So.
I want to say, so can we agree, or do we agree that the less time you take to get to know somebody or to court somebody will be a reason why two people can actually be in a relationship and one person doesn't really love the other person as much as the other?
So you're saying it's time the reason?
Yeah, because like I said, if we were to go back, like if how the relationships are besides the one night stands and all that, so the way normally relationships would start is somebody sees somebody that they like, and somebody goes after somebody and say, I really like you. You don't necessarily like me back, but I'm sure I'm letting you know that you might find me attractive, or you might find the other guy attractive, but the person making the first advance and saying, hey, I kind of see something here. You take your time to get to know that person, and then maybe you start to develop that same feeling. Like you go into a relationship and you don't develop the feelings, and that's where I can see, like, you know, you don't love him as much, and then he loves you way more. That's what I was seeing in that situation. Like, how can you literally be in a relationship,
But I don't-
a marriage? You're married now. I mean, I know things do change in marriage, but
Like, I don't think love can be equal.
you don't think so?
No, I don't.
And I kind of want us to separate it from the love languages, right? Because
Right.
that's
I really,
different.
yeah, because that kind
Let's
of,
not
Yeah,
put
but-
it
but
in the
that's
same
not
bracket
what-
as love language.
someone might
not what
think
I'm
that
saying, though.
one is higher than the other, and so, but
No.
in reality, they're all equal because that's just their way of giving. So whatever love language they're, like, you know, mine is acts of service. So I'll like do a lot of things, and he might be doing something else, you know, and because I'm giving, you know, I'm giving all my all, like, and he's giving all his all. Like, we can't weigh that. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
it's-
you can't say,
I
oh,
don't
I'm
think
doing
it-
more because mine. I feel like mine's is higher. No.
I feel like love is not always equal, but I feel like love can be equal. I feel like there are some people walking this earth that does have equal love, and then, but that's not to say that all love is equal. I feel like a lot of love is not equal, but there are people that I feel like might have equal love.
Equal
I think they have a
appreciation.
normal relationship, and she's just venting to her girlfriend that was like, ooh, girl. And it sounds like the cousin's a hater because that's what I got from it.
She's a
Like,
stepper.
right. First of all, why are you typing anything about me that's not you? Number one. And number two, do you have a man that loves you? Because I don't think so. I'm not getting it. It's not saying, well, me and my love equally love each other. She didn't say nothing about her relationship.
So I see a comment here about settling. Is anybody settling in this type of situation where you're not? Because here's the thing: everybody
It
wants
seems
to
like
be
you-
loved
It-
as much. Like if I'm the type of person, if I'm showing love in this type of way, and again, we don't want to quantify it, but if I'm doing so much, I want at least over half as much back.
Do you want the exact same thing,
Not
or however
necessarily the
they show
exact,
love?
not necessarily the exact same type of amount of love that I'm showing, but at least show me
No,
something.
I'm
back.
saying like however you're presenting your love, or so like you want it exactly how, like, okay, I hugged you all night, I cuddled you, and I gave you
Oh, no.
$1,000. Like
No,
you expect
no,
the
no.
same thing,
No,
like
no, no, no.
however they love. Is that what you're saying? Like if their way of giving love is a different way,
I mean-
cooking for you, you know, finding, like, you know.
I think you could get to that without being technical. Like, if you're in a relationship, you know if you feel love or don't feel love.
Right.
Like, it's,
Right.
let's not get technical and say, oh,
Right.
I got you this, now it's your turn to give me something. No, it's not that. It's, do you feel loved in a relationship? And
Right.
that's, you don't need anybody or any measurement to tell you that. It's just, how do you feel with this person?
Like me, I don't care for gifts. I don't care. But if I ask you to go to a soccer game with me, football game, and you don't like to do that, but you do it anyways, and you don't complain about it,
See, that's your love
That-
language.
that's
That's
me.
quality time.
like I don't care about the gift, we're going to this, I'm buying you this.
See, I all of them. I'm all five. I need every equal
Mhm.
parts of everything. You could be a little heavier on the gifts, but
Yeah.
I just need equal parts of everything.
I'm
Quality
like,
time.
you can gift, I
Me
would
too.
appreciate it. Oh, thank you, but that's not.
See, and also let me just say something real quick. When it comes to gifts, it's not like, oh, the fact that you bought this or like, or it's
Exactly.
the thought. It's the thought. Like
That's
I don't.
for
It's the
most
fact that you
women.
thought about
Yeah.
me enough in Kroger's to buy me some flowers. The fact that you thought about me when you didn't have to, or the fact that you just thought like
Or
maybe
you
I should
plan
buy
a
perfume.
picnic or something.
Whatever. That's what I mean by gifts. It's
Or I
not
know you
like
like candy, and I just come up with a bag of skips.
exactly like that is so cute to me. You know, that means that you're being thought about in other throughout the day.
I want to throw a wrench in this. So here's the thing. So I get what we're saying. You know, you can measure. You know, you feel like if someone is doing this for you, you feel like they love you. Can we compare that to being in love? Would they do that if they're not in love with you? Would they do that? Or are they doing it because you know? You see, what I'm trying to. I'm trying to get.
A lot of
Where are we?
people
What are
take
we?
the importance of in love. Like, what is in love?
I mean, you know how people say you're not in. You can love somebody, but you may not be in love with them.
I'd be like, what does that mean? What does that mean?
I mean, like you
Like, how
can
do you
get a
know
friend,
that
a
you're not
candy
in
boy.
love
You
with
know
this
they love
person?
that candy boy, but you're not in a
Right.
relationship with them. But you know, oh man, you're my homie. Like shoes like this. Hey, I mean,
I want to say that yes.
same, but you in
I
love
know.
with them.
And like, because the reason I'm like 50-50 is because yes, in the most part of if you're truly in love with somebody, you will go out of your way to do all these things they like and they make them happy. However, there are people that do these things for people that they're not in love with.
Right.
They do that maybe for ulterior motives or
Right.
for
Yeah.
something else, you know. So
I'm
yes,
gonna do all
it
this just in
depends.
case one day I need something from you. You know, some people do that.
Let's look at his comments real quick. So, somebody says, I don't really think you can love equally. What I was saying is, how do you even measure that? How do you measure that somebody's doing something that's as equal as you are? Jimmy says, I agree. It just has to be mutual and exclusive. Equal is subjective, somebody else says. it causes more problems when you try to measure it. And that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna, like, is it even normal? Is it okay? Because sometimes, in a relationship you have conversations. Oh, I did such and such and such and such. I'm the type of person, I don't like to say what I've done. Because it's like, why are we talking about what we've done for each other?
Yeah.
So do y'all feel the same? Is that normal?
Yes,
Like,
it's normal.
It's normal to
That's
feel like,
not-
why
I don't
should
like
we
to
talk
tally,
about
like,
it?
oh,
Like, I
you did
don't,
this or I did this for you.
I don't
No.
count.
checking.
It gets real petty when you do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Usually it's in an argument.
It's an argument,
It's
or
already
the
a
other
petty
person is
argument.
feeling like the other person is not
It's
measuring
like
up to
measuring
anything.
up.
Yeah, like I've done this, or they're just basically probably not even being petty, or just expressing themselves,
Right.
like letting you know, like, hey, I've been here, I went out
Done all
my way,
this for
like
you.
I'm just being vulnerable with you. But some people might, take that as
Take it
like,
the wrong way.
oh, you're throwing what you did, you did for me and stuff, and just not being receptive of it.
Which I have a degree in, because my dad does it, my grandma did it to all of us, and she'll let us know that she did everything and when she did it and what she's owed for doing it. So I think sometimes it's just passed out, and sometimes you have to try hard to break these.
yeah, and just
these good
unlearn it.
degrees. Yeah, you have to unlearn some stuff that for your partner, and that's a part of being in love,
One comment. First corner says love can never be equal. If it's someone else would have died in Jesus, I'm probably not reading the tribe, but if it's someone else would have died in Jesus instead, everybody gives and receives love different. Just stop measuring the love that you receive to what you give, and that's what we just said. Yeah.
Since we're talking about Jesus, in the Bible, it says thy husband should love thy wife. It doesn't say the wife should love her.
Wait, what?
It's so crazy. I saw something.
No.
And let's finish
I
that.
knew
And the
it.
women should
It
respect.
says thou shalt respect.
Yeah.
thy
Not
husband.
love.
It doesn't say love. We say honor. We say respect.
So this is the reason to go to the streets
Technically-
and do street
No,
things.
technically the person
No, the
I
love
literally
comes from
just
us,
heard
but
that.
but the thing is though, they go hand to hand.
I just said what the Lord said.
Yeah, I mean,
Can you say that again? Can you say that again?
Thou husband shall love thou's wife.
Write that scripture down for him.
Write it
Read it
down.
later.
And what's the other
put it
part?
in Google, because I don't
And
know.
what's the other part?
And then the woman.
The wife
Right.
shall honor thou's husband.
So honor is not love.
It's respect.
Honors respect.
Respect. So you don't have to love us. You can
You
just
have to
respect.
respect.
You know what's funny though? Like, I actually value respect more than
Love.
because I feel like if there's
Yeah.
respect,
As a man.
that's a form of
As a
love.
man,
Right.
I'm about to say that's a form of love.
I'll say 99.9% of men this world value respect.
Like,
Like,
respect is way more important.
as a man, things that like we want to
See, and
respect.
for women, we have to love. Like Vivi said, we have to do all. Y'all have to do all five. And,
Mhm.
And guess
and if
what?
we
They
don't do all
go,
five, then we're
love and
settling.
respect
That's how
go
we-
hand to hand.
Yeah.
You know.
That
And it
is
doesn't matter how much money a man's had. Like
Right.
our men having money, that's fun, but it's not important. Unless we have enough money to have quality time together, and that's usually the biggest thing for women. No matter how much gifts look nice,
right.
it's really about time.
Time, because a guy can be so
But
rich
then
and
a
buy
man
you
will
everything, but
And
you
you're not
never
there.
have time with him. Y'all never get to have dinner. Y'all never get to go out. Y'all never get to do stuff. That's not true
And
happiness.
a real woman is just gonna stack their money with this guy,
And find a guy that loves them and has time for
and
them.
that usually.
But then a
takes 2 years.
man's argument is like, you can't have time and money, so I have to make money, so you can't get all my time.
That's
Like,
not true.
that is
No,
not
that's
true.
just what
Yeah.
more men have been.
A lot of men
Right.
do say that. Do you
Yeah.
agree with that? What you say?
That's
I
an
mean,
excuse. That's an excuse.
Can
No,
I
a lot
bring
of men
lunch
do
to
say
your
that,
job?
too.
You have to take an hour of.
But the
lunch
men
before
that
we get to
says
your
that
job.
are usually with the women that want
Want that lifestyle?
that lifestyle. I mean, she want the good
Then that's not a relationship.
Well,
you know.
you did say that men are like, growing up, they just think about money.
Yeah, yeah.
and
And then
business.
that's
So
the woman
that
was
could be
on
a
the
wide
train.
variety of
I
men.
told you, that's the woman that's on the train. This one. This was the train, the money train.
The money
And
train.
then you have women that jump on, right? And this side too. You know, like, ooh, but I got money though.
Yep.
And then the
Now you
woman
buy
that's gonna
bottles.
care and treat you right, and can I bring you lunch, and what are you doing?
You curving her.
You're curving her. She's still at the station because she doesn't care about this money.
Yeah, I get it, but I'm just saying, as you get older though, you know, the better you know, what's that saying? you know better, you do better. I think that's how it goes. I mean, and some people never get, and some people never get to that point. So it differs.
But
So we just don't respect.
Yeah.
Respect.
Now,
Now, respect. I mean, respect is a way of showing love anyway.
I'll send you the link, no worries.
It's a way of showing love anyway. Somebody said to say respect, not obedience. Y'all be obeying y'all, man?
Oh yeah, that's
Oh, what?
we don't
I
want
mean,
to slave.
that's submission though, right?
I ain't saying
That's a part of
obey.
submission.
I mean, some
I was
people
thinking in
think
the context
like
of-
bowing down. You know, no.
Submission.
Submission.
Yeah.
Which should be.
And the word submission can be used so
That's-
loosely, like
Listen, leave it at respect because the other words are like hits. Like, no, please don't say
But-
be I'm not a dog.
But see, that ties down to this
Whew.
the society.
But it's-
I got one comment for y'all and we are done.
but it's the way you.
Let's
translate
talk
it.
about this. If I'm to love you and you're to honor me, okay. Why do you complain if I have to do whatever it takes to love you? The Bible times are now different. Now you need money to completely love a woman. Let's talk about that last point. Now you need money to completely. We got 5 minutes. Now you need money to completely love a woman. I agree.
Just like
You
you
agree. I agree a little bit, not so much. I agree a
Can you
little
read
bit.
the last part though?
Oh, it says it's not. It's not just my thought that counts, because even the thought of buying a flower will not pay for it.
What?
I mean, basically,
thought-
like
Oh, I thought about
Doesn't
getting
pay
you
for
a
the
flower,
flower.
but
I need to work to pay.
Exactly,
Okay,
but
but-
same way you need to work to eat. Money, you have to pay for food. You have to pay for the roof over your head. Nothing is free.
you make time for what you want to. I just want to say that.
so. But let's go back to
Everybody
let's go
has
back to that last part. In today's day, he's basically trying to say the Bible stuff. You know, yeah, it was there, whatever. But now in today's world, you do need money to love a woman. Basically, possibly hinting that if you don't necessarily have money, she may not respect you.
It's, he said back in the day, is he insinuating like back in the day women didn't work too? Like we work.
I mean, you
Or
were.
maybe he's talking about back in the day when we weren't allowed to work.
No, he
Well, he
said
said Bible
no,
days,
He said the
so-
Bible days because
Yeah.
we
BC
talked
days.
about men love your wives and women respect your husband.
And they work in
So he's
different
basically
ways.
saying that
They
in
work
today's
the
day, he said
kitchen.
that happened there, but he's saying today you're not gonna get that respect if you don't have money. That's basically what he said. Let's talk about it.
Okay.
We're not gonna get him saying you don't
Okay,
And you're
okay,
not
so
I personally.
without that.
without money.
so when he says money, I guess it doesn't mean that you have to be wealthy or super rich. You just have to be able to provide. You have to be able to make your family or your woman feel stable and
Right,
secure.
right.
Secure. So, for example, like if we live in a starter home or even an apartment, but we always got food in the fridge, everything, bills are paid and stuff. That to me is okay. You don't have to be the richest man, or you don't have to be.
I hear that a lot.
Last
but
comments,
the way
last
some
comments.
girls move is very, very, like, I hear that, but I know that it's not really what girls really want, because nowadays, a lot of girls are wanting a lot. They're not asking for, keep food in the refrigerator, keep the lights on, keep the roof over the house. They're asking for, I want this bag, I want this strip.
It's social media.
So many other things. So
Put all
I
these
ask
things
for
in
all
the-
of that, and guess what? If I don't get it from my guy, I get it from myself. So a woman should be able to provide for herself. If you want this particular bag, make sure you can afford it too.
I'm gonna ask one question to the ladies. If a man is unable to provide something for you, he's unable to give you something that you really want, does that make you love him less? Or do you lose your interest?
What is
I've
something?
been in
What
a
is something?
relationship.
Because you know how women be there, like, hey, get me this. Oh, I want to go here. Hey, I want to do this.
I want to do this.
If he's not able to do that, and you're not married, you're in a relationship.
dating, that's my
you're
boyfriend.
dating,
Okay.
right?
Right, the same.
What does that
relationship.
make you love him
Is
less?
this a consistent thing?
See,
Or was it
yes
just?
or no? Does that make you
Yes
love
or no?
her?
That's
Yes
an
or
exception
no?
to everything, but yes or no?
Well, listen.
Just answer this,
Yes
I
or
will
no?
end the show.
Listen.
Yes or no?
I just want to know, is it just one time or is it every time I'm asking for something?
I've been in
Because of
a
the tension.
relationship where I
I
had
see what you're
to
saying.
be a provider, right?
Okay.
And I did it for a very, very long time, for a year, maybe 2 years. And it didn't make me look at him different or love him any less, but I started feeling undervalued, right? Because now I'm the provider. I have to provide for this house. I have to pay the bills, and I also have to spoil you in a sense. So it's a lot. and we had to have a conversation about it, but I didn't leave him for it, right?
Now see, that's a little different because you were actually providing. You took the, if that makes sense. So, but I'm saying like in a relationship, you both are doing your things, and you know how women, I
Maybe
want to
should
do
be able
this, I
to
want to do
provide
that.
some gifts too.
You
If we're
should
both doing our thing.
I'm
then
gonna
we're
let it
both
slide the
paying
first
equal
time,
bills.
maybe a second time, but after that, I'm gonna
You out?
I'm not going out, but I'm gonna feel
Oh,
some
you're
type
not
of
out? You're not out? When are you off?
if this becomes a
habit.
habit, yeah.
That's
what?
where the double standard comes into it. There's a double standard in there because
But that's not your love
Like
language.
if I say,
not me. I mean, everyone. I'm not talking about like individual, like I'm talking about like as a whole.
well, look, if I say, hey,
me.
babe, I want this bag, can I get it? He says, no. That's not a deal breaker. And I'm like, cool. I'm like, okay, babe, I want to go on the trip. Can we go? He says, no. I'm like, okay, damn, okay, fine. But then if I keep asking for stuff and it's just, if it's always a no, then I mean, what am I?
But the man just knows his pockets. Like he
No,
understands his pockets.
he said that y'all are both. Everybody is
Providing.
providing. The guy's working.
Right. Both.
The man
working.
isn't broke.
Split that
But
shit up.
that doesn't mean he doesn't know his pocket. He
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He's
Like,
providing, but
They have payment plans for trips now. You don't have no
As
excuse.
long as he don't
Split
tell me
it
no
up.
and he going out with the boys spending the money. As long as he don't do all that.
Okay,
Right,
Then it's
you can't
different.
say no, and then I see you popping a bottle to $50 at the store.
Exactly. So it's all about priorities and what you really want to do. Because some guys might be saying no because they really can't do it, which is fine. But some guys might say no because they don't want to do it. They
You're
rather
not
do
the
this with their
priority.
money.
Well,
Exactly.
so it depends on the situation after
Yeah.
you ask. Basically, after you ask him, but then you like.
But you're not going to ask for anything crazy that
Exactly.
you know your man can afford.
Exactly.
all right.
You're right. You're right
Good
about that.
conversations. Thank y'all for tuning in. I'm gonna take some of this Professor Corner's in points, and we're gonna put it for the next episode. He said a lot of good things, but yeah, good conversations. We're definitely out of time, but thank y'all for coming out for show. Thank y'all for tuning in for show. I want to read this last comment, but I know it's gonna lead to a lot more. But let's just read this comment and end the show on the comment, right? Okay. Professor Corner says, "What's the point of emphasizing on making money and providing for yourself when you're single? And as soon as you're in a relationship, your money becomes your money while mine remains out." You know, y'all get the drift, right? They're not saying that. They look at their eyes.
Wait,
Question that question.
Right.
He shall remain single. That's all I heard. He wants to stay single.
No. What's the point of emphasizing on making money and providing for yourself, women, when you're single? And as soon as you're in a relationship, your money remains your money, and his money is now yours.
You must have watched
No more comments. We are done with the show. Thank y'all for tuning in.
I'm hopping in the comments after this.
Thank y'all.
I got a comment back.
No.
Catch us under the comments on CTalkTV page.
Thank y'all for tuning in. Hey, thank y'all for coming out. Good conversations. No, I'm gonna take that, and we're gonna start with it next week. How about that? Talk about it. Thank y'all for tuning in, man.
Pin the comment.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and whatnot, all that good stuff. The video stays up, so go ahead and copy the link and share with other people. You can go back and rewatch it if you want to rewatch and stuff like that. But no, thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe, like. Thank you for coming out. Last words, I'm gonna say bye, people.
Bye.
Black men don't cheat, Lara still.
Boom!